Hey guys, Larry here with L&M Homestead, and today is a big day. It kind of caught me unexpected. I got the parts for the snowplow for the heating system and everything. I can't even use that thing because if I clear the snow off the windshield, I'd have to run it for 2 hours just to defrost it a little bit to get a little heat coming on the windshield. But then as soon as I sit up in it and I breathe, the windows will just frost up. So I do have all the parts for it. My plan was to come out today and fix it. But then I just got a phone call from the well drilling company and they said, "Hey, is your driveway plowed?" And I'm like, "Not at the moment, but it can be." And they said, "Well, we have another job we're supposed to go to and they can't get their driveway plowed. If you can get your driveway plowed, we'll be there in a couple hours." I was like, on my way. So I'm gonna have to use the bulldozer and the backhoe and get the plowing, and I gotta do this fast, so I'm not gonna be setting up and recording, so I just gotta get it done. So I gotta get these machines fired up and get them running and warmed up, and I gotta get to work. So before I go ahead and up there, I thought I'd show you what I went down to Wisconsin for. There was actually 4 40-foot I-beams on this trailer. They're all stacked together and banded together. And this was the main reason why I took the gooseneck trailer down here to haul these I-beams. I thought they were going to be 20-foot lengths, but they had 40-foot lengths, and so I just got the 40, so I don't have to weld them together. But I got that, and I got a pile of materials in there from Menards and stuff too for another project that's going to be coming up real soon. But yeah, this is the reason why, and then also the snowblower. I put the snowblower up in the front here and hauled that back. So let's head on up there. All right, I'm taking the backhoe up there because I'm going to cut down some big trees, and then I figure I can pick them up with the bucket and get them out of my way and move them out of my way, and just put them off to the side. And next summer or whatever, I'll cut these trees up and cut them up into firewood or something like that. But right now, I just need to move. There's really 2 big trees and then a bunch of little trees. I just gotta cut all this stuff up. It's a beautiful day for cutting trees. I was at the gas station. I needed some oil mixture for my chainsaw. And I was fueling it. This guy pulled up alongside me, an older gentleman pulled up alongside me with a snowplow truck. And he's fueling. He's like, "Oh, beautiful day in the UP, ain't it?" And I said, "You betcha." And he's like, "Man," he goes, "I was thinking when I retire, I get to work less. Isn't that how it's supposed to work?" And I laughed and I told him, I said, "Nope, that is not how it's supposed to work." I says, when you retire, you're supposed to be able to work more at things that you enjoy. He turned and looked at me, almost snapped his neck. He looked at me so hard. And he goes, "But I don't like this." And I looked at him and I said, "Sounds like you need to go back to work then." He just started laughing. He goes, "Okay, I'll put up with this weather." There's a big hole there. I gotta come down with the bulldozer and I gotta fix all that. That's where that truck got stuck and the other truck sat there trying to pull him out. He dug a big hole. I kind of pushed it back in with the snowplow last night. I didn't use my snowplow truck because mine's got a straight blade on it. It would have dug in because the ground underneath wasn't frozen. So it would have just dug in and chopped all my gravel I put in there and messed it all up. So I actually went to the church and I borrowed the church snowplow one and I fixed it all up. And I grabbed that one and brought it out. I did most of it with the bulldozer, all the big mass stuff, but then I came back with that one, and on the bottom of that one it has like shoes that let the blades not dig in, and it kind of skips across the gravel and doesn't dig in and stuff. So I use that. I didn't do the greatest job of plowing, but I got it plowed enough, and these guys, they came up with their trucks, and their drilling truck, it does not have a lot of traction. was kind of worried. Their rigging truck, that one's 6-wheel drive, but their drilling truck, I wasn't sure about it. And I'm coming up the driveway. I told the owner, I said, look at it. I said, if you want, I'll come through with my bulldozer and just, be in front of him to hold him, make sure he doesn't slip or nothing. And he went back down and just jumped in and drove up. And he came up and he spin the tires, he said. So we got a nice grade on our driveway. So I figured I'd show you guys here. Here is the 2 drilling rigs. You got the one on the right is the, I'm not sure how to be on the screen, but that one there is the actual drilling truck and the other one is the rigging truck. This is where, right in front of me here, this is where the well is gonna go. It's gonna be just like 4 feet in past the edges of these trees. Be set back in there. I would like to have the well casing. I would love to have it inside a building. But then the thing is, if you ever have to pull the pump or something, then the building is in the way. So that becomes a problem. I could make it so that the roof comes off or folds or something up. I could do something like that. I didn't even think about that. But what I want to do, if I can't have the casing inside of a building, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to build probably like a 12 by 12 little building right next to the well casing. And I was thinking about this because we're going to put the temporary house up, then we're going to put the barnuminium, and then we're going to do the house. In the temporary house, it's going to be very tight, and we need to have a pressure tank. It'd be nice to have a water softener and a filtration system and everything. So I'm thinking I'll build like a 12 by 12 shed, build it with like 2 by 6 walls, insulate it like crazy, and then seal it all up nice, and then I can have all that stuff put in there and just have the water pipe coming from the well into there. And then I can put like a light bulb that you use for like chickens and stuff like that, little heat bulb, and put that in there, and that'll keep that building warm in the wintertime. It'll just stay on and it'll just keep that building warm. It doesn't need to be 70 degrees in there. As long as it's like 40 degrees, it's fine. And I think that'll work. If I can put it over the well casing, I'd rather do that. I may have to go talk to the health department guys. So that's where that's going to go. I will talk to them about that in the future. I just need the well done. I just need it drilled in, and then I can do this stuff. But over here on the left, this big berm of dirt, I want this out of here. So there's a bigger pine tree right here in the end, and then I don't know what that tree is, but that's a pretty good size one. Those there, I'm going to cut down and then take them out of here, and then there's a bunch of other little scrabbly stuff, and then I'm going to use the bulldozer and bulldoze all this dirt, even with my landing pad out here, make this bigger. And it's not the biggest thing right now, but the thing is that when they come in here and drill the hole, they'll have their drill truck in there, but then to reload the pipe, they got the rigging truck, has a crane on it. They can lift the pipe off of the rigging truck and put it into the well drilling truck. And I think it would be nice that they'd be able to come off onto the side over here so that they can lift the pipe up, put it in. I think it'd make their life easier, and it has to be done in the future anyway, so I'm just gonna knock it out today. So a tree decided to fall into the other big tree. For a second I sat there tempted to go over there and cut the other big tree. That's a mighty big widowmaker that I'd have to run from. So I'm going to use the backhoe, use the back of it, go over there and lift the back. it the whole way up on the tree as far as I can. It might actually fall. It's swaying right now. It's moving. It is moving. Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and wait. I'm just gonna get it done. So you get to go look out my dirty back window. I gotta clean this thing. But I dug up the stumps right there and everything, so it'll be easier to bulldoze. And I put the whole part against the tree there, kind of pushed against it. Now I'm gonna go cut it, and hopefully it can only go that way. If it doesn't fall, start to fall, I'll just get in here and swing it a little bit, push it this way. We got the pine tree laying over here on the ground. Well, that didn't go the way I wanted. It twisted on me. I'll do the same thing. I'm gonna pick up this pine tree and get it out of the way I cut down. Well, there it goes all by itself. It's falling right now. It's gotta go. Maybe. Let's see. Turn around. Drive forward a little bit. Raise up my arms, we're gonna trap some trees in there. Well guys, I got this all leveled off. Got those trees all cut out of there. And I just kind of leveled it all off and everything. I am going to be going down to the health department. And they're the ones who do the permits and everything. I want to talk to them, see if I can build a deal over the top of where the well is going to be put. I'd like to have a building over. I've been thinking about it, so I think that'd be good to have it all in there. So we're putting that like right in there. It'll be out of the way so that there'll be a driveway that comes around here, and then this all back here will be all a parking lot to store vehicles and things on, you know, equipment. And this will be set back in there far enough so that there's no chance of hitting anything. So, but I got that all leveled off and everything. It's still mounted up down there, but I don't care about that. That's later on. But yeah, so I got this all cleaned out. So I think, well, the well guy, he's not showing up. I don't know. I got to go over there and talk to him because I'm supposed to go pay a deposit for him to do this and everything else, and try to get him to give me a idea on when this is going to happen, because I got to start working on this modular home right where his trucks are parked. So I got to figure this all out and everything else. But I think in the meantime, since he's not going to be showing up today and this is all he can get in here and do this, I'm going to go down and work on the plow truck. I got all the parts. I got a heater motor, some kind of resistor, and some kind of switch thing. It's basically all the parts in it. I'm going to hook it all in, all new stuff, and see if it will work. So guys, working back on this truck. I've been gone and went down to Wisconsin, and that time I got the new motor. Got that all got that in there, and it comes with like a gasket, and then it comes with this new rubber hose here too. And then there's this here thing. I can't remember what it's called. It says a relay. This thing here, I looked online at the wiring and stuff, and it's basically a motor, it's a relay, and a switch inside. And this was not expensive at all, and I think it was like $17, something like that. And so this goes in there, and so I figure why not just replace it. And then this is the new switch that goes on the inside. Take it apart, but it's a switch that goes on the dash. So, and that was like 11 bucks. And I figured since I was replacing it, I don't know where the power is being cut off from, so I figured it's going to replace all the components. So I'm going to install this. Pretty simple, just putting it in there, a couple bolts, putting that in there, 2 little bolts, looks like 8mm, hold it in, and then the switch inside, and then I can go to see if it works or not. Well guys, I got the new motor put in there, relay, resistor, I don't know what. I forgot to put this bracket on there. I just saw that just now, so I gotta just pull that screw out, put that back in there. And I'm gonna go put the switch on the inside and see if this puppy works. Well, I got the new new switch screwed in there. Got the holding screw in there. Put a little electrical grease in the connections there. Plug it in. Here's the knob for it. There's no worried about it. Yeah, that's just gonna fall off in there. It came right out. Here I got one of my let's try one piece of paper. Put this over the top. Piece. You get it to stick on there. A little spot of grease right on the end of it. That should get the stick on there for a second. And then you push the knob on there. That should take up some play. Oh yeah. There we go. Now the knob is tight in there, it won't fall out. Otherwise I think it, I don't know if there was, I didn't see anything come out of it, but it was just very super loose. Alright, well, let's see if she works. Turn on the key. I don't hear any fan. Oh, oh, it just came on. Oh, yeah. There's high. That's pretty quiet, actually. She's humming down, I can hear her. That's kind of weird how it just didn't turn on immediately with the key. It like took a couple minutes. Try it again. Yeah, nothing. There it comes. You can hear like some click, click, click going on over there and stuff, and then she fires up. Alright, I'm gonna fire this truck up and get some heat going. This has been my only heat source right here, this little electrical, this little 12 volt little electric heater. There was a cold start, really cold start. Well guys, it's all put back together. We got heat going on in here. Not too much of a view out there. Headlights really don't do a lot. But we do have other headlights. So if we turn on the PTO, I turn the power on my control panel for the pump, for the plow and everything. That kicks on 2 LED lights there. And then there's also LED lights on top of the cab. So that really lights some things up. Lift our plow. Let's say we give her a whirl. I'm not sure how this is gonna do. I don't have chains on here, and I kind of don't want to put chains in here. I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is, I don't know, it's kind of a difficult decision because think we'll start right up in here. It's kind of a difficult decision because, right there, because I don't want to, if I put weight in there, I put like a half a load of dirt in there, then it's going to freeze in there and I won't be able to get it back out. And I need to use the dump truck all winter. So that's still the plan. So we're going to tilt the plow. Got some slow hydraulics there. They're a little cold. Put her down. We're going to take her kind of slow. Can't really see the plow too much. If it like trips, I won't be able to see it. Kind of messed up there a little bit. I didn't notice if the camera was pointing straight down. It's in here talking guys all through stuff and everything, and I looked around and the camera was pointing straight at the ground. This thing's working really nice. But like I was just saying back there, I thought you guys heard it, was I think I'll have to get pretty good at putting chains on this thing because I was slipping. I couldn't back up there. So I think I'm gonna have the chains. And I don't like to do, I don't want to do that because if we get big snow, I may end up I may drive this truck over to the church. And then we'll have two plows plowing it and stuff like this, and this one here can handle more. And it's kind of a pain in the butt to take the chains on and off. But do what I gotta do. Tree branch. Need to trim that. Maybe that mount will work better. The camera just keeps falling. So I can see I got trees to trim. I'm kind of off the driveway a little bit. I'll need to trim that tree, and there's the one coming in at the entrance too. I think that I know I could go a lot faster, but kind of trying to cut, it's kind of rough and everything else, kind of bumpy and stuff, and so I'm kind of just going slow so I'm not beating things up. Once I do this a few times, she'll get nice and smooth and I'll be able to go through here. It actually only gives me 3 gears when I have the PTO with the plow on. When I had the plow PTO on. If I have the dump truck PTO on, I can go whatever, but there we go. You guys can see I've done both sides of this one, and this is nicely plowed. Let's see if we can get a little more speed and get up through here. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to. I can already feel it. I'm already slipping. Well, I might be able to. It's gain some traction there. I could make it up. I'm not really pushing a ton of snow though. Well, guys, the well is happening. It's been a few days since I recorded, since I cleared this up here, and I needed to go pay a deposit. So I went there yesterday and had to put $6,000 down on for the deposit of the well and stuff. And the guy was in there, and it's been teens, and it's been like the feel like temperature's been like below 8, -8 and stuff like that. It's been cold. And I went in their office yesterday and said, hey, I need to pay this deposit to get you guys, you know, so you guys are ready to roll. And the lady goes, I think he's coming out tomorrow. I think it's supposed to be in the 20s, and he was planning on showing up tomorrow. I was like, really? So I came out here this morning, fired up my generator, and I plugged in his trucks for him so they would have no problem starting, and they fired right up, no problem. He's got it all situated where the well's going to be, and he's rigging it up. I don't know if he wants to be recorded or not doing it. It's pretty fascinating. I've been watching it and stuff. I've been over there. I've been wanting to help him and grab it because it's just the owner out here right now. His workers are on a service call, but they'll be here, I guess. So he's getting everything, all the pipes laid out and stuff. All the drill heads all set up and everything so they can start the drilling as soon as those guys get here. So I started a little bonfire over there, and now it's kind of going out on me. But I was gonna have a little bonfire going so they could warm up once in a while. And he's not the happiest. He's like, man, this winter came fast and cold. But yeah, I keep asking him all over there, and I said, I'm not watching you what you're doing and how you're doing. I don't know. I said, I'm not watching you on your performance of work. I says, I'm just fascinated by what's going on. And I'm like, can I help? Can I grab that? Or he's like, no, I got it. And finally I said, hey, I said, if there is anything I can help with, you just let me know. I said, I feel kind of stupid sitting here just watching you. I said, I want to help and jump in there. But he's like, no, I got it. Now they're dropping the first piece of pipe and the drill head in. Pretty cool. Now she's starting to spit mud and water. They're starting to put it in the ground. Starting to make their poke in there. So hopefully she doesn't have to go too deep. There we go. They're adding a second stick in there. Second drill tube. And I believe they'll weld it together. So now they're going to pull this down. They got the thread to the drill bits together. They just greased them. Now they're threading it together. There it is, tight. They put the main on the outside pipe casing. I'm guessing that tool they're using lines two pipes together. I was trying to figure out what he's doing, but he's trying to get the top lined up so it fits into the machine up there. I'm guessing he's looking for cracks all the way around, making sure that it's sitting on the other one nice and flat. So he just jacked the truck up. Now he's gonna probably weld. Now the guy's welding the two casings together. I don't know how tall those casings are. I would say, I don't know, maybe 20 or 30 feet. It's hard to tell standing up like that. But they just continue to do this all the way down, I guess. Well, guys, they have left for today, left for the weekend. We have 3 pieces of pipe in there, 20-foot sticks. So they are down right now 55 feet. What they're aiming for is, that's a casing pipe, and if you look up there, that's the drill that goes down through the casing pipe, and there's a drill bit on the end of it. What they do is they kind of drill down, and hydraulic, it pushes down the pipe as they're drilling, and pushes it in the ground so that the well doesn't cave in. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get to solid bedrock. Because then when they get to solid bedrock, then they'll drill through the bedrock until they get into a good water source. And that way the well doesn't cave in or nothing like that. And then also the well it won't have a bunch of muck and sand and junk in it that it can get plugged up or whatever, that the pump will get plugged up. So that's what the goal is. They said that the neighbors down there, they said the people on the north, they said theirs on record, they drilled 25 feet and hit bedrock. The people on the other side of the road, they said that they drilled 65 feet and hit bedrock. And then they drilled down inside there till they hit the water and stuff. But they said the sooner you hit bedrock, the cheaper it is. Well, right now we're at 55 and we're not hitting anything. I think they just hit a rock because the drill was like bouncing around, like it was trying to chew through. He was worried at the end of the pipe maybe hit something and it kind of caved in and stuff. I don't know. He's kind of saying he was worried about that. But I seen it, the stuff coming out. I think it was like a rock or something. I think they hit a rock down in there. It's a very coarse and there's rocky stuff in it. Chips of rock. So I think they hit that, but it's a very clay sand. It's probably not the greatest example of it, but it's a very clay sand. So hopefully we hit bedrock soon, and then we can do that. If they said they can't find bedrock, then what they'll do is keep drilling, and then they will put a screen down on the bottom of it. But we'd rather get it the good way, the way that they want and everything else. So they're gone for the weekend. They said they'd be back when the weather cooperates. They said they were both pretty frozen. The one guy, he didn't wear any winter boots today, and the other guy, he just kept hanging out in the truck. But they said that they'd be back when weather cooperates and it's over 20 degrees. Right now it's 23 degrees, so they're like, okay, right on the verge. I saw in the forecast that like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, that it's supposed to be in the mid-20s to almost 30. So it might be in the middle of the week or so. We'll see. But this is done. So I got lots of other projects going on, and I'm going to keep working on mine and everything else. Well, guys, temperature is 20 degrees exactly. Supposed to get it to like 25, 26 today. These guys are out here bright and early. They actually beat me out here this morning. The sun is just popping up. It's coming over the top of the trees back there behind me. And they got everything running and getting warmed up. So hopefully we hit bedrock today. If we don't, this is going to get mighty expensive. Well, guys, they found water. They're about 80 feet down. They're testing it. It's a lot of sand, and I think they're going to screen it. They got a bunch of different screens over there, and they keep samples, and they keep rubbing it on the screen to see if it goes through. I think they're thinking about screening it. They cannot find bedrock. But
but it's just pouring water out of there. I thought there'd be more water that comes out. So now they are pumping water out of the water truck, putting it down the hole to flush it out. And it's coming all nice and clean.
Well, guys, these guys were thinking that they were going to be done today, but they ended up not. They drilled a well. They're not reaching bedrock. And there's a section of pipe left in there. I would say that's probably, I don't know, 10 to 12 feet long. So it's probably 8 feet on top of that. So it's 80. So it's probably about 88 feet. Actually, no, probably about 86 feet, 85 feet, we'll say. Probably about 85 feet down into the ground. They've been drilling, and they hit water. They didn't find bedrock, but what they found was water. They found an aquifer down there. So water started coming out. I didn't really think it was very much water coming out, but they actually said it was pretty good, actually. And it's a real sandy stuff. And so they have those screens right over there that are piled up, and they're all different. They have different size holes in them for different material. And they sat there and they kept taking samples from it, and then they would rub it on there to see if it would go through the screen. And I guess that tells them what the material, what the soil is, or what the sand stuff is down there, the material around the well casing, and whether or not it'll go through the screen. So that's what they're doing, and they said it seems really good. So the next step was to take their water truck that they had parked over here, and they hooked this to the machine, and it pumps water down in, and it just pumps the water down in, and it flushes the whole casing out and everything, and it cleans the well. And they were doing that, and the well and the water was coming out really good. It was shooting out of that white pipe up there. It was coming out, and it was looking really, it was getting nice and clean. And then he started drilling the drill head down into the well to kind of clean the bottom of it and everything else and flush the stuff out. And he was about 5 feet from the bottom, and then the water just completely stopped. And nothing was flowing out. And he messed around, and they looked at things, and they were trying to figure things out. And they looked at everything, and their water truck, the tank on it, was frozen. There was some ice in there or something like that, and it got plugged up, and the water stopped flowing out of there. So I was kind of concerned about it when it stopped. I thought, I wonder if they hit a void down there, and now all the water they're pumping down in there to flush the well out is just dropped into some void on the ground or something like that. And I asked him about it when he was messing around with stuff. I asked him if that's what the case was. And he said, well, that's what does happen. He goes, we pump the water down in there, and there's a bunch of pressure that's put through the well casing, and it actually forces it out and blows everything out down there, and it creates a big void that all the water and everything, that's where it is, and it'll sit in there, and it'll give you clean water. So he said that's the way it's supposed to happen, but he said that's not what happened. So they need more water, and their water tank froze. So they ended up, they said it's just a fighting battle. They sat there with little torches and everything, trying to figure it out, trying to get it to flow again. They couldn't do it. And they said it's just a losing battle. They said, so we're going to head back to the shop. And they said, we're just going to call it a day. We're going to head back to the shop, drain this tank, and park it in the shop and keep it all warm and everything. Fill the tank up tomorrow, come with a full tank. They said, because even if we get it flowing, they felt they didn't have enough water in the tank to actually do the job. So they said they're going to need a full tank. So they're going to be back tomorrow, I guess. So that's going to come out later, too late for this video and everything. And for the finish of it, well, hopefully it works. And that's only 85 feet down. That's not bad at all. I was kind of surprised about it, because I was expecting, because from what the understanding I have, and I may be wrong in this, I thought this is the way it was, that it was 25 feet to one of the neighbors to bedrock, and the other neighbor was 65 feet to bedrock. And then they drilled into the bedrock until they found water. And when I talked to them the first day, they said, well, that if the casing goes all the way to the bedrock, then it makes a very good clean well. There's no sediment in it and everything else, and that's, you know, what we're looking for. But then they were saying the screens and stuff, and I was like, so you're not going to try to keep going down for the bedrock? Because the neighbor down there, if it's 65 feet to the bedrock, we're probably 30 to 40 feet higher than they are in elevation here. So that could be 95, 100 feet to bedrock up here if it's at the same level. You don't know, because I guess one person on one side of the road was 25, and they said the other person on the other side was 65 in their well documents. And they were like, it's kind of interesting how it's quite different, just that little tiny, you know, distance away from each other. So who knows what it could be here. But he said that the screen is good. He said the water coming out is real good. We've hit an aquifer down underneath there, and he said the screen will be good. I have done research on wells and everything else, because guys, I actually was thinking about buying a used well truck. I was actually contemplating this and trying to do this myself, so I've been kind of messing around looking in all kinds of things. And I've seen that with screen wells, sometimes the sediments can get kind of into the casing and into the well and kind of get things plugged up and stuff. And I saw this one guy, the well company, saying that basically every 5 years you should go in and blow your well out. And what they do is they put down an air hose down to the bottom of the well, and you have a big industrial compressor, and it's on like a trailer and stuff, and you just shoot a whole bunch of air down there, and it blows everything out of the well, and then you put your pump on and everything back down in there, and it keeps the well clean. I asked the guy that's operating this about that. I said, is that something that's going to have to be done with this being a screen well and stuff? He goes, I could see that being done. And he goes, we've never done it and stuff. I don't know. And I was like, okay. So that might be something that has to go, but if we're getting good water, we'll see what end up happening. We'll see how it all works out. But it's kind of cool. We only got 85 feet. That's going to keep the cost down low. So keep it a little bit lower here. So yeah, the well's almost in. There's a pipe 85 feet in the ground. So we'll see where it goes from here. Hopefully they flush it, and hopefully we get good water coming out, and everything works like it should. After they get done, actually what I'm going to be doing, I've talked over with the owner of the well company, or the drilling company, and what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be actually building a small like 10 by 12 structure over here, and that's going to have it's going to be a pump house, and I'm going to put in a pressure tank and a well pump and all this stuff to pump the stuff up, and filtration systems and everything and all that stuff. That will all be inside that pump house, and then I'll be able to route the water from that pump house to the house, to the barndominium and everything else, and it'll all be controlled by that one building. I'm not going to be putting it over to casing pipe like I was thinking. I talked to him about that. He did not like that idea. He's like, all I can see is trouble in the future with that. And he goes, we got to get access to that well, to the casing. So if you put it inside a building, it's just going to be problems. And I said, okay. So I'm going to be putting it over, get it away from there and stuff, and that way they can have access to it whenever they need to, and we'll go from there. So they were actually excited for a little bit. They were like, when they were pumping the water, the guy was like, I asked them, I says, your next job, I said, is the driveway all plowed out and everything, ready for you guys to get into it, or are you guys packing it up? Because they're struggling a little bit in the cold weather and stuff. And they said, no, we'll be going to more jobs. We got a few more wells to do. And I told them, I said, well, I know that the driveway wasn't plowed in a place you were supposed to go. That's why you guys came here. I said, if you guys need the assistance, I says, I do have equipment to plow. I says, I can help you guys out. You know, of course, with taking some brace off as well, the final costs and stuff. But, and he goes, yeah, he goes, that might need to be done. He goes, I'll talk to the owner. So we'll see how everything pans out. But yeah, pretty cool. It is pretty neat. It's a neat thing to watch it and see how it all goes and everything. I think it's something, this is basically the only really thing that I'm going to be hiring out to do this. And the main reason why is because getting a pump truck is very expensive, getting the drilling truck. Then you got all the piping and all that stuff you got to have, and the drills and all that. But I think the know-how and what's going on, because I can tell you right now, with the way they drilled and what was coming out, I would have been like, no, that's not good. You got to keep going. But they were actually saying it's really good water. It's a good amount. So cool. So I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope that everybody out there is having themselves a great day, great night as you watch this here video. And if you're not, you can certainly try that all over again tomorrow. God bless you guys. Hopefully I would say next video. They're saying that they'll be back tomorrow and it will knock us right out. But the next video, we should see that we have a completed well, and then I got to start building a well house and do all that and get that all hooked up, and then I can get the health department in here and they do a free test of the water. They will take the water and test it and check for any problems with it, any things that are in the water to be harmful or whatever. So I will catch you guys next time.